welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mama Pup Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you here today. Today we're working on a design bag, and it's going to be a custom-made design bag because I need one specifically for my frame that I use for cross-stitching. So I took some beautiful fabric and then a solid on one side. I used variegated blue on the blue side here and quilted it up. You might want to check out that video. It was just on Wednesday. And just filled as much as I could of this section of the fabric to make it so it was completely all quilted. And it was more than what I was going to need, but I can always use this for something else, another bag or something, right? So I have all my pieces here. Those are my two colors I decided to go with. You need your plastic, which I have outdoor furniture. It's medium clear vinyl, and you can protect lots of things with it. You could also sew with it and make it as a clear window for your design bag or your project bag. But this one I'm putting a handle on. So my frame is actually going to slide in this way. The one I have right now, I have to slide it in this way, and I'm always constantly grabbing where the canvas is, and I don't want to. I'm more secured to, or want to have it where I can just grab it right from the frame itself and pull it out of my bag, okay? So I have one already, and it does fit, but I'm going to save that for another project bag and make this one just for my cross stitching. Also, I wanted to attach a handle. So I have one here, it's ready to sew onto the back. I just used a chunk of the material that I'm using to make the project and put binding on both sides. Super easy, just 1 1/4 inch of fabric for the binding. You just need to one layer it. It's not like you're trying to do a quilt, and then be able to stitch that down. So I want to be able to kind of stabilize, stitch it in a couple of spots here, and then be able to have this pull back. So when we finish off the whole sealing out the outside of the whole project or bag, we can get a nice seal on it. So okay, so if you want to have it for something specific like I do, then make sure you're measuring it, that you have lots of room to take things in and out. It's going to clear the zipper, nothing's going to catch or anything. Obviously mine is going to be a little longer because my frame is longer than that. So it's about 27 inches long. And then these strips here I cut at 3.5 by 3.5, and I have a nice long 22-inch zipper or something like that. And then for the width of it, I think is also about 20 or 22 inches. So let's take a look there. Almost 19 inches. Okay, so about 19 inches, okay. So to be able to seal this up beautifully and properly, what you're going to want to do is you're going to have a top section here, and then this part here you're going to need to bind because that's where your zipper is going to go. That's why this piece is bound on both sides, because this side is where the plastic is going to get attached to. And then we want to make sure it's nice and pretty. To finish it up, we're going to put this little zipper in here. And we're not even going to change the foot. We're just going to use the zigzag stitch. We're going to use a walking foot, which is going to help us. And when we get to the part where we have to sew on the plastic and the fabric together, we're going to have it so the fabric is underneath and we're sewing, the plastic is on top, because it doesn't have a tendency to, like the feed dogs, it just slides right off because it's a smooth plastic. So that's all a helpful hint, is make sure that the plastic is up when you're sewing. And obviously mine still has the cover on it. I just wanted so you could see that's how it comes. It comes on a big roll. Didn't cost me very much. So you can also, if you're lucky enough to find clear plastic curtains at the dollar store, then go ahead and grab that there, or even, you know, cheap at Walmart. All right, so we have sewed on one side. Now we need to flip and sew down on either side of this where the binding is covering the edge. So let's finish that, and then we'll do this one. We don't need to do this one because that's going to be bound in the outside, okay? So let's finish off this and this, and then we'll get sewing onto our zipper part, okay? And once you got all your parts and pieces all cut out, it's pretty much an easy little process. So I'd like to thank every single one of you for joining us on this video. We appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Just a straight stitch. You could use your decorative stitches. This would be a nice way to, you know, showcase some of them. You don't have to do a huge section. It's just like the top or the bottom where you're attaching things, like the binding. Okay. Let's flip it and do the other side. is a gorgeous day here today. Spring is in the air, very excited. There we go. All right, now we're going to finish off the one on the other side. Okay, so what I was doing is I was sewing onto the back. So I take my little strip of 1 1/4. Because the ends are going to be tucked in, so you don't have to worry about them. And I'm just stitching at about 1/4 inch away. Trim up the other edge here. Okay. And now we're just going to flip it, straighten it out, do a little finger press at this point in time. Okay. And you can see some of that pretty quilting that I did on the back side. Well, on the sides. There's front side and the back side. Just take this, flip this down. So tuck the raw edge in to where it meets the fabric, and then just roll it on down, and then that way you know it's nice and secure and it's going to stay snug in there. Okay. We'll start off here. Make sure we kind of got this pre-folded ahead of time so we didn't have to use any pins. Now you don't have to quilt the back part. I mean, if you had something a little bit tougher, like a, faux suede, or maybe even a vinyl, denim, thick canvas, those sorts of tougher fabrics, maybe even some outdoor fabric or drapery fabric, you could totally do the bag the same way. All right, now here comes the fun part. Get to add a zipper. Okay. So depending on which way you want to open it, left to right, right to left, that's up to you. I like to open the zipper completely and be able to tuck it under. I'm going to tuck it under. Hold on. Let me turn it the other way here. Okay. And we want to be able to not hit that with our sewing needle. So we want to make sure we're taking advantage of the little extra fabric that's here, because that's going to be where we're stitching it down to here. And then when we come around with our binding to seal the whole project bag up. Okay, so let's grab a few pins. Okay. Just to make sure this is going to stay where we want it to stay. Okay. Just need a couple. And I find if you're using the whole width of the zipper, you kind of want to close the zipper a little bit to get started. Okay, because then you're not running into the zipper head. Sorry, let me go back there and try and straighten that up. Okay. It's laying flat. And then just right next. And you can do a zigzag stitch, a decorative stitch, whatever. Okay, let's close that just a little bit more. Wait till we get past there. Make sure we lift the foot up all the way. And then usually there's the other lever that we can do and drag the zipper head back. Okay. Sometimes you almost need like 2 arms. There we go. Okay. Back down. Do that on the other side. We want to close the zipper at this point in time, okay, to make sure we're going to line it up properly with the other side, okay. We'll have to pop a few pins in. Let me unzip that for a moment. Get that one lined up. The pin just like that. And then we'll place the other end. Let's go underneath this camera here, sorry. Be a little less fiddly. Okay, we want to make sure it's going straight all the way to the other side. No lumps and bumps in here, right? Okay, make sure it's nice and smooth. Just add a couple pins. There. And there, I think we should be okay. Now, when closed, does it look good? Are you happy with the way it's sitting? If not, here's your chance to readjust things. If you don't want to put in a zipper, maybe some Velcro or even a tie. You could do a little tie of sorts. I'm not sure how, but I'm sure we could figure it out. We're smart people. All right, now we're going to take this and unzipper it. And I'm just going to sew right down there, okay? Okay, now we're getting close to the part where the zipper head's going to come into effect. So what we're going to do is we're going to close it, raise the foot, scoot it as much as we can, pull it a bit more. Hold on. Almost get it. Almost. Hold on. Just push there. Push a little bit more. Just, you gotta fiddle, but you'll get it. Don't get too frustrated. If worst comes to worst, make sure you just lift the needle and move the head and just come back down again. Okay. All right. So there we go. That is our zipper top and enclosure all done. Now we need to add the plastic to this part. Okay. So we're going to take that here, put that down over there. Okay. I'm just going to scoot it up, put a pin in because we want to make sure the we're sewing on so the bottom is the fabric. Right? Can't have the bottom be the plastic or just if the feed dogs just fight it. Okay, so I have overlapped this about an inch. Okay, you can see there, it's about an inch overlap. I'm just going to sew down. And of course, this one here could also have been a nice decorative stitch if you so chose it. I always find this plastic smells like a brand new game of Twister. As soon as you open up that plastic mat. Okay. Okay, now comes the part where we got to put the two pieces together. Okay. Let me secure my handles first. Okay. Let me do that. And I chose to put it at the back with a nice big handle so I can grab it or even slip it through my arm if my hands are busy carrying teacups, cell phones, whatever I got going back and forth. So we're just going to secure this. It's a little back and forth. Just at the bottom so we have lots of flexibility. Let's straighten this up so it doesn't look wonky. Okay, should we put there? Okay, so that's just secured just the one sew, okay, because we want to be able to have this flip back and be able to seal all around with our binding. Okay, so let's put these two together. Just like this. Yeah, and I did make sure that my plastic was cut longer. I'd rather have it too long than too short, then you're going to have to cry. If it happened to have been too short, make another piece just like you were doing at the top and put it at the bottom, and then it's reinforced on both sections, especially if you may be carrying something heavy and you want to do the handle. That's a good idea. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to go all the way around. Let's make sure the top is straight first. Those are really your two fabric-y parts. Okay. Secure that. Okay. And then just make your way around. Okay, those are a little long. We want to make sure those get trimmed up. Let's go straight down first. Okay. And when you put your pins in, it is going to poke the plastic, okay? Obviously, it's like it pokes any fabric. But just try and keep the pokes to a minimum. So just a couple pokes to hold it where it needs to be. I guess this could be a time where you could use some glue. Maybe glue might work. Okay. Now let's trim this up. And then a little on here. I want to make sure it's the same size as our fabric. Sorry. Let's turn this way. Work at a better angle. Okay. Looks like this side just needs a little trim. Let's go back to have it straight to make sure we're not taking off too much. Just needs a smidge. Okay, now all the way around. Let's make sure this doesn't get in the way. Let's just pop a little pin in it here. Just put it into the backing. Okay. Now you could, if you wanted to, and be brave and just do the binding at the same time as you have it pinned. I kind of like it knowing it's all secure when I go and sew around with the binding. I mean, that's up to you. Those are your choices. Okay. Now just start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. And just sew all the way around. Oh, this is going to get a little flippy floppy here, so. Okay, now we're coming to the zipper head. So we want to make sure it's back far from the needle point, where the needle's going to drop. Keep those two zipper ends together. Okay, foot up, turn. And I just left it at a regular stitch, 2.4. feel the bit of the bulk because of the handle, but that's okay as long as we're keeping things nice and straight. Foot up, pivot. Now here's a little scary because that little nub is right there, okay? So let's just be cautious. And when we sew around again with the binding, we're going to want to, again, be extra cautious at that one little spot. Because that zipper end tip is really close, we may have to just kind of whip a few hand stitches to seal it up. I'm not too worried about that. I know how to hand stitch. Now these were great for, not just for your project that you have going on, but it's a great gift to give to somebody who maybe does other projects like scrapbook making and collages or other crafts. Like this is a great one for obviously cross stitch, needlepoint, embroidery, even any other yarn crafts could be definitely stored in this. And it doesn't necessarily even have to have a clear plastic front. If you know what you're going to put in it, then you can just kind of seal it, do the same thing, but just do this as a fabric. Okay, and then back to the start. Okay, now it is almost done. Okay, take those out. Now we're going to take our strips. I'm probably going to sew at least 3 of them together. And that's going to get us all the way around. Okay. And then we've got our cute little bag handle. I love it. I love it. We're still going to pin this back here so it's not in the way. We just want the back. Okay. All right. One more. I don't think 2 is going to cut it all the way around, so we'll do 3. Well, it's Easter weekend coming up, so happy Easter, everybody. I'm going to trim those off, those little bits, to make it nice and even. Okay. Can just go in the scrap pile. They're really too much small for anything else. Kind of straighten that up. Oh, look at that. That design is almost bang on there. Can you see that? Hold on. Where do I put the piece through? Right there. It's almost like I planned it, but I did it. All right. Off. Salvage. And now, again, go from the back. I know it's going to be a little hard to flip, but we'll try it now that it's stabilized. I kind of either stitch on the back and flip to the front, or stitch on the front and flip to the back. So maybe we'll do it this way because then it'll be less slippery. Okay. So line it up. Make sure you're having a good, 4 or 5 inches for crossover. And then around and around we go again. Stop 1/4 inch away, and the same with which is just a single binding. You do the same thing. You just fold it so it comes down and lays in the other direction. Come on, you. And of course, your color options are really your limitation as to what you have in your stash. You could do it scrappy. I think a little postage stamp part. That would be, I think that would look really nice. Whole scrappy and quilted. Maybe even hand quilted. I'd save anything the hand quilting to the outside because you wouldn't want anything, your needles or pins or anything else to get hooked on any of the, you know, fancy applique or embroidery stitches or something like that on the inside. Close to the zipper parts, we just want to make sure we're not hitting any of those connections. Make sure our handle isn't getting in there. Great for like makeup bags, keep brushes, paint brushes, you know. I'm sure there's 1,001 things you can think with a, you know, little bag like this. Last corner. Fold. Okay, now here again was a little tricky part. You remember that little zipper nub right there? Okay. Just gonna hug the edge just a smidge. If we broke a needle, then we would have broken a needle, and that's all right. Okay, now there's a bit of overlap here. Okay, so you just want to snip that. And you can do it the same old-fashioned ways you like to do your regular binding, or you can just snug them up. Fold one, fold the other. Let it lie flat on top and continue on. Okay. Now, just like we did with the zippers, we're just going to zipper binding. We're just going to flip it over like that, and then tuck it down again and sew it. But let's do some pinning first. Maybe keep her steady. Now, I just finger press this. I would not iron this at this point. I would not take the iron anywhere near the plastic. I don't see that coming out as anything positive. Okay. I usually try to start with where my start and stop was for the binding. So there, and pin. Okay. And just do that all the way around and seal it up. And same, your corners are the same way. You just fold one edge down till you get that point, and then do the same with the other side. Okay. Okay. And then that is your custom design bag. Is that awesome? And then mine is going to sit right in just like that, with lots of room, and for me to be able to take it out by its more secure handle than trying to get my, you know, maybe my hands aren't the cleanest, or you always have oils on your hands. you know, I don't want to constantly be grabbing it, you know, this way, and then I end up making it dirty, right? So this is our project that we've been working on for the past couple weeks on Tuesday, Cross Stitch Tuesday. We've done all these ones as well, and I will eventually be filling in pretty much majority of this whole project. So it's nice to be able to have it so I can take it back and forth from the shop into the house and have it nice and secure and protected from the environment. Okay? So thank you everybody for joining me today. I hope you had a great time with us. We appreciate you here very much at the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop. I hope you make a design bag for something that you need, or you make it for somebody who needs one. And that's how I started with these, is one was made for me very nicely from my friend Jo Marie, and I have loved it ever since. And it's been inspiring me to make some bags for some people, as well as make a custom one for my own cross stitch to make sure my hoop is gonna fit. So thank you everybody. We'll see you soon. Take care, enjoy the weekend, and happy Easter.